afternoon, everyone. This is Matt over at MilestoneCapitalGrowthPortfolio.com. And here's our bounce. But today is Wednesday, January 7th. Okay, we were calling for the bounce. We were letting a few days ago, 2 days ago, we said it was going to bounce. And we had a nice hammer down yesterday, but we had the bounce today. So, like I said, we should have this here. So, once we hit this, we should pull back down again and test this area. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. I guess it all depends on jobs, doesn't it? But we will know absolutely tomorrow. Relative strength index at 59, and you could see your 50-day moving average is getting ready to cross your middle Bollinger Band. That is not very bullish, is it? All right, we'll have to keep an eye on this one, but we should come up and mess with this line tomorrow. If we blow through it, I'm still going to keep my puts that I have at 208, but I'm going to keep an eye on this here, the middle Bollinger Band, the 50-day moving average. Play some calls, play some puts. Just be in the chat room, and we will have some fun. That's for sure. We did today. All right, we're going to look at the Dow real quick. Same thing. Okay, we have a trend in place. Let's move this down a little bit, make it realistic. Right around that area. Okay, same thing. We got a little bit of headway coming in right here. Beautiful double bottom bounce though, and we'll have to see what happens here. But you know, things look good. But I will tell you this. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. Don't get fooled by these moves, okay? Because it's not 100% until we get there, okay? It is what it is until it isn't. I'm going to say that forever and a day. All right, so right now we're in a tight pattern, very tight pattern, and the pattern will be broken. Now, which way do we break? We'll know tomorrow, that's for sure. Relative strength index back up at 63, working perfect, and you can see a trend line right here in the way, but will these two cross, the 50 and the 20 SMA? We will know that tomorrow, so keep an eye and join us in the chat room, and we will have some fun. IWM. All right, this one came right down to the trend line, doing really well right here. This we can move right now because that was the gap fill I said we were going to take place, and it did. So you can see IWM trend line and 50 and middle Bollinger Band right here. So you get a lot of stuff and a lot of junk in the way right here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. If that breaks first, could get interesting. But we'll have to watch that very close tomorrow. So we have a plan in place, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. That's for sure. But great move today by the market, but there was it was a 50-50. It just, it gapped up real big and then ran the first hour and just chugged. It really didn't do anything spectacular. So I think jobs tomorrow will change the tune one way or the other. Okay, NASDAQ, same thing. I do have a target for the NASDAQ down here, and I'm going to get it at some point, that's for sure. But we have the same thing, but now this is going to act as resistance because this was the uptrend line, and we broke that. We're already in the downtrend pattern here. So what you have in the way right now is this line, and you also have this line. So, that's your downtrend line. That's your downtrend pattern line, and here's your resistance right now along with the 50 and the middle Bollinger Band right here. But as you can see, it's starting to turn to the downside a little bit, even though you got a little bit of cross going on here, or getting ready to on the ADX, and your stochastics is leveling off. I think you still have much more down to go on this one, but as you can see, a pattern is what it is until it isn't, and it's just that simple. All right, Google, no failing on Google. All right, Google is in a pattern of down. All right, so it didn't hold it today. It's not ready for the upside yet. Let's worry about the relative strength index and all these other indicators, but we're going to come down here now to probably about 500 and see what happens there. If the market rolls over, this one can get hit pretty hard, has plenty of room to drop like a rock. My target's at 450. It's been 450 since 600. And I'm on my way. I'll get there. All right, Twitter, what happened? All right, so like I said, we had this box right here, and what's going to take place is we're going to come into this next trade zone, but we're going to meet the 50-day as resistance, and it's going to be outside that. So came right down all the way down to the middle Bollinger Band, like I said it was going to do. So the puts worked out just great for scalping. Okay, is it a broken trade? Absolutely not. Okay, all it did was come back to earth a little bit after a nice little pump by somebody, and like Carl or somebody buying it. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't pay attention to that. I just stick with the technicals If there's momentum there, I play the momentum. It's that simple. So, we're just back in this box for now. We have the middle Bollinger Band for support. If it breaks under that, then it'll probably come to the lower end of the box. If it doesn't break under that tomorrow, then guess where it's going? Up, okay? And the resistance is going to be the top of this box again. It's just that simple. And then eventually we should get into this box, or we should tank to the downside. Well, I'll let you know. But we'll be tracking it, that's for sure. We'll be trading it, that's for sure, because they move very well. Facebook, everybody jump ship. Yeah, it looks bad. It has a double bottom here today, though, so there is potential for this to hold. We're going to be all over this tomorrow because we could get a nice little pop in it, up to 78. If not, we are going to roll back down, and we're going to roll nice, okay? We should get down to, I'd have to look at a 60-minute chart, but I'm going to say right around this area, 72. But I'll go over that with members tomorrow so we can finish making money on Facebook. But we have the double bottom, but look at your 50-day. Your 50-day is crossed down. It's about to cross under the 100. Your Bollinger Bands are starting to turn to the downside. So, for a long term, in the next few weeks or so, I don't think it's going to get there. We do have a daily gap down here, 61 on the daily, and potentially, if you take a look at the weekly, you could see, we're on track to get something like that filled. Right down here, going to come into this whole consolidation area. This was the measured move, but a good way to look at this right now is take it and say, all right, what are we doing? We're in a consolidation box, okay? Always use something that you can look at, okay? So this is the consolidation box. It could not get over these two candles over here. So what's it doing? It comes down here. So on the weekly, it just broke the middle Bollinger Band. That is very, very, very bearish, okay? But relative strength index is at 48. So ideally we could get down here to 73 without an issue, but because it's outside that box, I'd say probably about 70 and maybe a spike a little bit lower in the coming weeks. So keep an eye on Facebook for either a pop tomorrow or a big drop coming. We'll let you know, so make sure you join us. It's a great time. We have over 130 people in chat room today, so stop in. It's everybody's there for a reason and having a blast. All right. So social media stocks. This is a good way to take a look at this. This is the index for it, the ETF, SOCL, and if you run your trend, you could see it's just broken. Okay, there's nothing good. But we closed this gap right here that I was talking about in the last video. So that was a great move down here. But this really does not look like it's in an upward momentum pattern under any circumstances. I think by the summertime they will be. But as of right now, you can see if you switch it over to your monthly, not looking very good. And I do have that target in place right here. Let me move this up a little bit higher. I do have that target in place right there to come down, and 16, 15, and it could go a little bit lower, but we won't worry about that just yet. All right, this is Matt. Listen, if you're not a member, become a member. I can't tell you what we did on PCLN today, but I can tell you what, we took 300% this morning. 2,500% was the maximum for the ride down that we took, and we made new decisions on PCLN today. So if you want to trade that puppy with some options and make a little bit of coin, stop in. All right, have yourself a fantastic night, everyone.